To Wizards of the Coast, nothing is off limits. Wizards of the Coast has demonstrated by action that nothing is off limits when it comes to making money for the company. MTG Moxman here. If that intro doesn't grab you, I don't know what will. Here we are on a Friday. I think it's probably a Friday that we're going to talk about this subject today. The fact that Wizards of the Coast follows the data. Like a bloodhound sniffing it down, they will do whatever it takes to get closer to your wallet. They want to be best friends with your money, and they want to find a way to get there. And they have all kinds of data collection that leads them down certain avenues to make products for us, the consumer. And they will go down any product line if they think it can make them money. And I'll explain what I mean about that in just a second, because that's a little bit more of an in-depth discussion. First, let's stop by 30th anniversary. Let's stop in there. I know it's fresh in everyone's mind, so that's why we're going to pick on it. When you look back now on 30th anniversary, the majority of the players who grew angry at Wizards of the Coast were angry about the price point, not the product. The expensive nature, the greed factor they saw coming in for that product is what really turned off the player base for Magic the Gathering. And I'm sure in Wizards of the Coast's eyes, when they were reviewing their data, they said, you know, double flip trip masters, we got away with that. Players liked it. They had a good time with the textured foils. I think we could, I think 30th anniversary is going to work at this price point. And they went ahead and they did it, guys. Because they were comparing it to collector edition. Proxy versus a type of proxy, a collector product. And one had gone up a lot in value, so players will see value there, and they'll want to dive into it. They'll want to go after and attack that product, even at $1,000 a box. They're gonna go after it. And they were wrong. They were so wrong. We all know they were wrong because we all rebelled en masse, closed up the wallet into like a small fist, and just slapped them across the face, and boy, did it feel good. They don't have that nearly enough, but their data at the time was telling them that it was okay. They really did. I guarantee looking back now, when you they probably didn't listen to PR departments, but the actual data that they had collected probably suggested that this would be okay. And remember, they're going to follow it. But now looking back on the 30th anniversary product line, Wizards of the Coast will look at that one failure versus all the successes they've had up to that point. And they will rewind and recalibrate to the point they had success. In this case, it explains Commander Masters as well as Lord of the Rings. The price points we're seeing, I think, are directly correlated to those products. And yes, they were coming down the line, but price points were probably not affixed to those products. They just did some market research, saw what players were accepting, and they jumped on it. And again, it lets you know that when it comes to the 30th anniversary, the gloves came off at that point. Wizards reached for the stars, and now they've had to scroll things back. But when the gloves came off, it also showed that things the company says cannot be taken too seriously. When Marky Mark rose in the water, when he said, hey, we're not going to reprint reserve list cards. Well, you kind of did. Chris Cox, he doesn't need any puns attached to his name. He's good on his own. When you look at what these guys said at the fireside chat and how they've dealt with their consumer base, with the customer, the players, it was done very ill-conceived, and it shows a lack of media training toward the public, and their public relations is very weak in the company as a whole. But knowing the company now and knowing that nowhere is off limits, and they will put their hands on whatever leads them to money, if the market research has shown them that players liked Eldraine, we're now going back to Eldraine. Interesting, the wilds of Eldraine. Players like Zendikar, we've been back multiple times in the last few years because it's a very popular plane of existence. The Innistrad block got a real heavy hit because it didn't seem very horror-ish. Last time it was like, monsters and stuff. It became more of, it's kind of a joke. There was a wedding and nobody cared. So they messed up the tone. So they'll wait a while before they go back. When the market research shows we need somewhere scary, they'll go back there again. Hopefully in a more scary and kind of spooky tone than what they just did. But people liked going to things like Dominaria, so we went back there. Nothing's off limits. which also means game mechanics and game reprints are not off limits. They said the Eldrazi mechanic was too powerful. I remember there was something Rosewater said, I think it was 2016, where he did that storm scale, and it was like a 9. I mean, oh, it's never coming back again. It may never come back, but you're still reprinting it. You still put it in specialty products. You can get Eldrazi Conscription. You can get a Mikriel Aeon of Torn. Look, I got it right here. Look how many Mikriels there are. It fills the whole screen, guys. And there's actually more than that on a second page. I just didn't really think we needed a lot of visuals today for this kind of talk. I look at it and say, yeah, it's not off limits because they can make money, even though it crashes the price out. They unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor. Remember when he became unbanned? He shot from like a $40 card all the way back up to $100. If they find a way to get a Mikriel unbanned, do you think the price won't shoot up? And then they can, draw from the trough again? Interesting. Interesting to think that that could happen, but it can. If the data research shows we need to go back and do more Eldrazi, they'll go back there. Just like the market research showed them that it was the right time to go back to the Phyrexians. They saw the buzz and the stories and all the live feed on all kinds of these Reddit sub-channels and on the content creators of YouTube, and we went back. Remember War of the Spark? You think Nicol Bolas is gone forever? Nah, they'll bring him back at just the right moment. Same with Ugin. These guys are not gone. They can always find ways of bringing them back, because if the market research shows they can make money there, they will go back. They will wait till the trough runs dry in one area before moving to the other. And when you move to the other one, to a new fresh thing, it is something fresh and new for the players. That's the side effect of them trying to get money, is a lot of times we enjoy the journey. We enjoy the game and the gameplay and the mechanics they give us. Even if it's a rehash of an old one or a reskinned artwork on an old style card writing, it can come back. You think banding can't come back? Of course it can. Flanking can come back. They can bring back mechanics we haven't seen in forever. They could do a deck that has strong walls like Wall of Stone again if they choose to. If the data research showed that's what players wanted, they'd be there in a hot minute. It wouldn't even take them much R&D to do it, because a lot of these cards exist. They would just have to collate them into sets. If enough research showed that they need to do a separate Legacy Vintage Series set, they would do it. Okay? They could already be working on it now for all I know. These things happen. And they happen for a reason, because it's a direction that they see the players going in. When you look at Commander as the most popular format, you look at Standard, look at Pioneer and some of the other formats we have out there. Look at Modern. Modern became Modern Horizons. Modern Horizons 2, right? They gave us new, updated versions of cards and gave us whole new cards because Modern was popular. Now that Commander is the most popular, we're getting Commander Masters, right? They're also putting in new Commander cards directly into Standard sets. So we know these cards are being made directly to market for that particular crowd of player. And when you know that, you can plan for it. In some ways, what Wizards of the Coast does is in like slow motion. Remember like Justice League? Remember that fight with Superman against the Justice League and everyone's in slow motion? Except for the Flash is like zooming along the background and he's like going like running like this, and he looks over at Superman and Superman just goes boom, and his eyes move and catch like... That's when, Flash realizes, oh my God, he can track me and he's coming to get me. That's what Wizards of the Coast hasn't caught on yet. That the players do know what they do. We do talk about this, and we do have conversations on content creator channels like myself, as well as in play groups with friends saying what's going to happen next. We're all there following the price points they're giving us, looking at the cards and the designs, enjoying or not enjoying, criticizing or loving. Either way, nothing is off limits when it comes to Wizards of the Coast. Don't think that they won't touch any area of this game, because they will. They're capable of doing it if the research leads them in that path. I find this kind of conversation very interesting because more and more, like I said, I see it in slow motion, some of the things they're doing, and it's almost like you're saying, yep, that's what's going to come next. We're going to see some of this. It just makes sense. That's why I don't have thralls, because nobody's asking for thralls. That's why the market research isn't showing them to make me more thralls. I know, we're at the end of the video. I had to mention this stuff. I had to talk to you guys and say, this is how I was feeling about it. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Wizards really will take the gloves off and basically do whatever it takes to get to our wallets? Or do you think they're going to practice some restraint in the upcoming year or two and kind of dial things back a bit to give us some real breathing room? Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section. And again, thank you for allowing me to entertain you on the channel today. The weekend is coming. We got the Hot 10 with some crazy stuff going on, and then the Reserve List Hot 10 on Sunday. I am so looking forward to seeing you all there. Have a great day today, everyone. Oh yes, we're here. The moment in time has happened where we recognize the awesomeness that is being a patron of MTG Mox. Man, thanks again for that support, everyone. Without you being there, we wouldn't be here. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. Wizards of the Coast, if you happen to be watching this video, I'm watching you too. Bring back banding. Give me some thralls. Maybe make some kind of Army of Darkness crossover set. You could bring in maybe a little bit of D&D by giving me, you know, a Ravenloft expansion. Dragonlance, if you do it properly. See what I mean? They can go anywhere with it, and it gets me excited just thinking about it. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out at the end of the video. And let's put in the comments section, so I know you made it this far, we're going to put Bruce Campbell. Oh yeah, we're going to put Ash. Bruce Campbell.